opportunity for those who wish to opt out of criticizing devotees given to us by Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami is described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita as follows. Raghunath Bhatta would neither hear nor speak about anything of the material world. He would simply discuss Krishna and worship the Lord day and night. How's that sound to you? Not so good? Yes. Oh, okay. And then it mentions his attitude towards devotees. It says, Vaishnavera nindya karma nahi pade khane, shabhe Krishna bhajan kare, e matra jane. He would not listen to blasphemy of a Vaishnav, nor would he listen to talk of a Vaishnav's misbehavior. He knew only that everyone was engaged in Krishna's service. He did not understand anything else. Prabhupada purports this. Raghunath Bhatta never did anything harmful to a Vaishnav. In other words, he was never inattentive in the service of the Lord, nor did he ever violate the rules and regulations of a pure Vaishnav. It is the duty of a Vaishnava Acharya to prevent his disciples and followers from violating the principles of Vaishnava behavior. He should always advise them to strictly follow the regulative principles which will protect them from falling down. Although a Vaishnava preacher may sometimes criticize others, Raghunath Bhatta avoided this. Even if another Vaishnava was actually at fault, Raghunath Bhatta would not criticize him. He saw only that everyone was engaged in Krishna's service. That is the position of a Mahabhagavata. Actually, even if one is serving Maya in a higher sense, he is also a servant of Krishna. Because Maya is the servant of Krishna, anyone serving Maya serves Krishna indirectly. Therefore it is said, Keha mane, keha na mane, shab tar das. Je na mane tar hoy, she pape nash. Some accept him, whereas others do not, yet everyone is his servant. One who does not accept him, however, will be ruined by his sinful activities. So you may notice there that a Vaishnava Acharya may sometimes criticize others, but as is mentioned elsewhere, and I couldn't find the quote on the way over here this morning, but I will later, he does so to point out a fault in following the Shastra. And Prabhupada taught the devotees when they first came to India how to properly address issues when it comes to people who aren't following Shastra. So when they came to Prabhupada, that is the early devotees who went to India from the West and said, Prabhupada, people are asking about this Swami and that Swami. What do we think of them? What should we say? And Prabhupada answered that you should ask what is that person's philosophy, and then compare it to what's in the Bhagavad Gita. Without assailing the person himself, then assail the philosophy and compare it to the standard philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita. This way you avoid making ad hominem remarks about a particular person. And if one sticks to that system, when making necessary criticisms, then one doesn't go off the guardrails and become involved in criticizing unnecessarily, because it can become a habit. So it's better to be careful in speech. Prabhupada also once, in talking to one of his, to the godbrother of his spiritual master, who had promised him some land and then reneged later, Prabhupada became annoyed. But when he spoke to him about it in the presence of a few disciples, he was a little pointed in his remarks, but he made them all questions. And afterwards he said, I didn't make any statements towards him, I just asked him questions. Point was that he was aware of the fact that there's etiquette in all circumstances, even when you have to make a strong point. You still be careful and not go over the guardrails. Another aspect of criticism of Vaishnavas is in the Nectar of Devotion. And I reread this recently and thought it was worth mentioning here. Prabhupada writes in the Nectar of Devotion, transcendental attachment, either shadow or para, can be nullified by different degrees of offenses at the lotus feet of pure devotees. If the offense is very serious, then one's attachment becomes almost nil. And if the offense is not very serious, one's attachment can become second class or third class. And Prabhupada writes as a commentary, as attachment can be invoked by the association of pure devotees, so attachment can also be extinguished by offenses committed at the lotus feet of pure devotees. To be more clear, by the association of pure devotees, attachment for Krishna can be aroused, but if one commits offenses at the lotus feet of a devotee, one's shadow attachment or para attachment can be extinguished. This extinguishing is like the waning of the full moon, which gradually decreases and at last becomes dark. One should therefore be very careful while associating with pure devotees to guard against committing an offense at their lotus feet. Transcendental attachment, either shadow or para, can be nullified by different degrees of offenses at the lotus feet of pure devotees. If the offense is very serious, then one's attachment becomes almost nil, and if the offense is not very serious, one's attachment can become second class or third class. So in this section of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami is warning that, well, first he's talking about the ways that there's a kind of moon ray that comes from the heart of those who are pure devotees. And we benefit from that, and that's how we become lifted up in our practice of devotional service. If we offend those devotees, then the effect of those moon rays of pure devotion can become diminished, and our own attachment to devotional service becomes diminished accordingly or proportionately to the kind of offense that we make to the devotees. Therefore, it's important in the chanting of Hare Krishna and the overall practice of devotional service to always maintain Vaishnava etiquette, and one of the main tenets is to be extremely careful in one's association with devotees. Whether you're in their association or not, you should be careful about the way we think of them. And as I began, we're given permission by Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, who was a Paramahamsa devotee. We're not supposed to imitate Paramahamsa devotees, but we can follow in their footsteps. As Prabhupada mentions in Yastu Sarvadi Bhutani Atmani Vanupashati. Anupashati means that you should try to follow in their footsteps. So we can take that direction. And there's a little form that you can fill out that's available. And in that form, you just check off the box that you have sworn off the idea of criticizing Vaishnavas. You just check the little box and sign your name, and then you're exempted from that. And if anybody criticizes Vaishnava, you don't have to hang around. And if anybody asks you to criticize a Vaishnava, you don't have to participate because you already filled out the form. What do you think? Fill out the form? Yeah, you can fill out the form. Any reflections? Just take two, because we need human interaction. Yes. Shamalangi.
I like that verse which you just quoted, that everyone is a servant of Krishna, whether they agree or not. Like, even if somebody is serving Maya, it's indirectly serving Krishna. So we should not criticize in general anyone. And if one who does not agree that he's a servant, it's like, calling your own destruction kind of thing. So I like that verse you quoted just now.
Yeah, and this goes well with Sankirtan. For instance, if you go on the street in the Haight-Ashbury, you'll meet all kinds of wild people out there. But if we maintain the mood of seeing them as Krishna's children and don't become overly critical in our minds and so forth, they'll realize that, hey, these are our people. We're all together. We came from the Haight-Ashbury. These people are there now. They're all souls and so forth. It situates us in a good place. Thank you. One more from this side. Yes, Devavrata Prabhu. We'd like to welcome Devavrata Prabhu and his devotees coming all the way from Los Angeles. Haribol.
So actually just this week I found a shloka in just my regular study. I found a shloka from the Chaitanya Bhagavat that is aligned with Mother Shamalangi's point. It goes, Ananta Brahmane Yata Sabamora Das Ekate Ye Purna Himse Se Ayanash. The translation is, the living entities who live in the numberless universes are all my servants. This is Lord Chaitanya speaking. Therefore, any living entity that harms another living entity will perish.
Commentary?
This Sabamora Das, I specifically underlined in my notebook, that they're all servants. So this means that they should be given due respect according to their qualification. Krishneti yasya giritam manasadrietat. That according to the degree of advancement, one should be respected according to that capacity. But the specific principle is that respect should always be given. Now the degree of respect which is given can vary, but the common denominator is that there's always some level of respect which is offered to anyone who is a das.
That's a point that people in general resonate with. When I show a Bhagavad Gita and I show the picture of the Pandit who sees all living entities equally, I say, this shows that a self-realized person shows respect to all living beings. And people go, oh, I like that. Because it's so rare nowadays. Everyone becomes a professional at criticizing everybody else. That's what TikTok is. And therefore, we have a different culture. It's a very gentle culture. It's a very respectful culture. It doesn't mean we become Pollyanna and overlook when somebody goes off of Shastra, but we're always careful to not make offense to any living being, and especially to the pure devotees of the Lord. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Harinam Prabhu, please empower us to avoid criticizing Vaishnavas or any living being. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sri Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Ram 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Ram 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 Krishna 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna Ram 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 Krishna Krishna Ram 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 Hare Krishna Ram 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 Krishna Krishna Ram 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 Krishna Oh, Hare Krishna Ram 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 Hare Rama Ram 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 Krishna 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 Ram 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 Krishna Ram 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 Hare Rama Ram 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Sit properly.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare,
Ram Ram,
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
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 Rama, Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram, Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Hare.
Hare
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 Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Ram
Hare, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Ram
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Rama Rama,
Hare
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 Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Ram Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Hare Rama,
Ram, Ram
Rama Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare.
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna
Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Hare Rama Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama
Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Rama,
Ram
Rama Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare Hare,
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna
Rama Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Ram
Rama, Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama, Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Ram, Ram Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare, Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Rama,
Ram
Rama Rama,
Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare,
Ram Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Ram Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare,
Ram Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram Ram Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram, Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Ram
Rama, Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Ram
Ram,
Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare
Ram
Hare, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Krishna,
Ram Ram
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Ram, 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 Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, 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 Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Hare,
Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Ram, Ram,
Hare
Ram.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Ram.
Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram.
Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare
Ram.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram.
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare. Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Ram.
Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Ram, 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 Ram. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram,
Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Hare Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
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 Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
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 Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Rama Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram, Hare
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare.
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare Hare.
Ram, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
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 Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Ram
Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare.
Ram, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Ram
Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Rama Rama,
Hare
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 Hare.
Krishna, Hare
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 Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare Ram,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Hare. Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Krishna Hare Hare. Hare
Speak
Rama,
properly.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare
There's a verse
Hare
in the
Krishna,
Bible
Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna,
if you're not joyful when you see the
Hare
bird.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare
Just put the line.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Just put it right here.
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare. Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna. Just a few last points about the culture of respect, which has the proactive aspect of avoiding offenses. As mentioned by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there's 5 processes of devotional service out of 64 that are so potent that even if one doesn't have faith in them but is not offensive, one will make advancement in devotional service. It indicates the importance of being non-offensive. And the word respect has this meaning of an act of giving particular attention. And it means really respectere from Latin, to look back and look again, respect. Respect means to see. So don't just see superficially, but try to see what's within every living being, as in the verse Krishna gives in the Bhagavad Gita, where he says, don't just see the external, see the internal. And one of the offenses or ways in which one gets in an offensive mindset, Prabhupada mentions in the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, is by relativization. He mentions that if somebody's your honored mentor in devotional service, and then you go to your family, or such a person, he or she is part of a family somewhere, and then the family members say, oh, that person? You don't know the half of it. There's a way familiarity breeds contempt, and you may come in contact with people who know the person in a different context, and therefore they relativize person. Not that one should be totally taken aback by that, but one should be aware of the fact that that's their perspective, but our perspective doesn't have to conform to theirs just because they have a different context. Ours can remain firm in understanding the person according to his or her relationship to Krishna. Another point is that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when asked by the residents of Kulinagram, who was a devotee, he gave 3 points. First year, and he answered 3 years in a row, he said, a devotee is anyone who can say Hare Krishna. If they say Hare Krishna, they're in. That's it. One time, even one time. The next year, he said, the Madhyama Adhikarya, the next level up of devotee, is somebody who's always chanting Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And the third year, he said that the topmost devotee is one that when other people see it, him or her, the people start chanting Hare Krishna. They just say Hare Krishna, because they saw that person. He also mentioned in that context, because a Brahmin came and asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what do I do if I did blaspheme a devotee? And Mahaprabhu said, then use the same mouth that you use to criticize the devotee to glorify the devotee. You can always find something meritorious to say, like, well, you know, he has nice kids. Shastrasar Prada gave me the verse. I had remembered a verse. He knew it off the top of his head, and I'll give it to you later. But that is, the Shastra says that one should be joyful upon seeing a devotee. In other words, if you see any devotee, you should feel happy. And if you don't, it's a product of a critical culture. Either you've heard something about the person negative, and that prevents you from actually being joyful when you see that person, or you've fallen into a slump in your culture of appreciating devotees. And according to the Srimad Bhagavatam Ishvare Taradineshu, there's a way in which we should avoid people who are averse to devotional service. And I like the word averse because the verses are in the Shastra glorifying the devotees, and somebody's averse, they won't follow that. So there's a way that the Acharyas also explain that we should always appreciate Vaishnavas, but if some Vaishnava is of loose character, there's a way in which we should appreciate him or her from afar. It's not that we have to intimately associate with every devotee. So if there is a case in which somebody's of loose character, then we should move back a little further until we have a perspective in which we can say something nice. And who knows Ashvatthama, the person of the Bhagavatam? Did he do something kind of weird? Well, even Ashvatthama is mentioned as being reformable. So we can remember, no matter who it is or what they did, apichet sudaracharo, the verse still holds. If you move back far enough and you remember Ashvatthama, who's going to be the next Vyasadeva in Satya Yuga, when Satya Yuga rolls around again, Ashvatthama is still hanging around the planet somewhere, maybe Haidashwari, I'm not sure. But wherever he is, he'll be reformed by that time. So we should remember that any person can become reformed. And that helps to guard against this total degradation of the mind by ruling out a Vaishnav who's performed devotional service, even if such a person has done something abominable. And the time is up, and we thank everyone for joining the Japa circle. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, please empower us to avoid criticizing devotees and to be proactive in glorifying them. Be joyful every time we see them. Thank you for considering our request. Everyone who agrees with this prayer in whole or in part, please unmute and say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mm.